Good afternoon. Welcome to OptionsTender. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. September 5th, 2025. We're going to go through SPX, VIX. We're going to check up on MJ and MSauce because that is starting to work out right after we put the trade in 2 days ago or yesterday. So we want to check on those. That continues to be bullish. I do think we're in a bull market for the cannabis stocks, and so we'll go through SPX SPY as well, and then we'll go down to the 65. So today we're forming a bearish reversal pattern. We had reversal on the weekly time. We'll look at the weekly when we do the weekend video. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm not sure when I'll do it, but we'll look at the individual candles because we had reversal candles already. But on the daily time frame, we're forming what's called the dark cloud cover. So with this nice large candle with the bulls and a gap up with a red candle covering at least 50%, that is that's a textbook dark cloud cover reversal pattern. So for confirmation, we need another candle to break down underneath this one here. And it does appear that we're bear flagging on the lower time frames, and we'll take a look at that, okay? And so here's our traditional look, our trend line. We formed that wedge here and broke down as a fake break, ended up tagging the top of that wedge again. And now we're just holding this wedge so far. So we break down from the wedge again, and this channel, then, that's obviously another sell signal at that point. Okay, so let's look at the moving averages. Now that we opened up higher today, what does that show us? Well, first of all, the moving averages, we're fighting with those again. Today, the 8 and the 20, those are going to give way pretty soon here. Cullen oscillator, we have another divergence with that higher high, and we made a lower high here. And when are these divergences going to play out? Well, with this reversal pattern, could be next week. So stay tuned. But it's going to be pretty obvious, in my opinion, once this thing starts to get going. We're going to have some pretty big down days. That's typically when after price structure starts to break down and you start getting bearish structure, price starts to accelerate a bit. And obviously the VIX will show some things. So here's our OptionsTender look. All right, we have the momentum continuing to diverge. Price popped up. Momentum is heading down. And look at this, just filling out this wedge a little bit more. And we got that other divergence right here. This is a 4-peak divergence. You don't see those very often. So this could be a pretty big move to the downside, and we'll see which way it breaks, up or down, right? Here we got another divergence on the slow stoke, and the slow stoke started to curl up. That's what gave us our gap up. We'll see when it crosses back down where we're at. DMARC. We have a 2 count to the upside, 5, 6 there. No setup yet. Awesome oscillator, just working its way down. Another divergence, new high, lower high. Who'd have known? Who'd have thunk how long this would take? And to be quite honest, you'd never know when these reverses are going to happen. You can have something that takes 2 weeks. You can have something that takes 3 months. And this is just a little bit smaller version of what's going on here. So I know there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, you're bearish over and over and over. Once I hit a divergence, it's an objective short. Typically it works. It's just a matter of how long. We want to keep swinging these and get a lower high. But, this one is setting up for a big move to the downside, hitting the tops. And that's exactly what happened here, right here. when you get these reversals. How many times you're going to hit it? And then you finally get your reversal. Now, the big question, is it going to be a shallow reversal and higher, or is it going to set negative market structure to the downside? Okay, the money flow index on the SPY. Look at that. We got a new high, and guess what? We got a lower high here. Are you surprised? We are looking for a reversal. Here's our Bollinger Band setup. We had a sell signal today at the open, the top band with negative divergence overbought. That's your classic Bollinger Band setup there. Building a lot of volume. We'll see where that goes. When price does break down, see we have a little node here that's holding on, little price action. When we do break into this gap, we're likely to come down to this 600 area before really anything climactic happens. Maybe we get a solid bounce from there, but we should see an impulse wave down to likely the 60 area, 600 area, and we'll go from there. Yeah, that's what the volume shelves will tell us. And obviously, if it breaks down lower than that, you have different gaps. Shelves that with gaps here that can move pretty quick, and a lot of times you'll protect those gaps and bounce off of them, but we'll see what price gives us. Okay, Elliott oscillator. Okay, wave 3 into wave 5 on a lower degree. That we're waiting to see that travel into the red area and stay down in the red for quite some time. Okay, so on this time frame, here in a nutshell is what we're looking for really quick. So we're going to show this again in the weekend video. We're looking for this bull market to be done with this wave 5 right here. All right, if you're new here, this is an expanded ending diagonal. Ending diagonals are made up of 5 waves of 3. So ABC for 1, ABC for 2, ABC for 3, ABC for 4, and ABC for 5. But is this done? Is this wave 5 going to be smaller than wave 3? Or do we get this B wave pullback to the 23 or 38% retracements here at 611 or all the way down to 590? That's the question. And then we'll probably get to these levels, and we want to see at that point, do we go for new highs and much higher, or do we start breaking down and forming negative structure? So A, B, C, much higher, or is this done and we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and break down from this formation? Let's go over to VIX. So the VIX started to make a breakout there. Now it's got a hammer, an inverse hammer candle there. That's a reversal type candle. So again, that matches up with what's going on on SPX. So we'll see some follow through coming up next week here. Your moving averages on here. Holding on to the 20, squeezing in between the 8 and 50, really that whole range today. Now let's look at MJ real quick. Here's our traditional look. Pulled up here, ended up closing the gap, getting a reversal. We think this is a wave 4 into the lesser degree wave 4, and we're looking for new highs. Now this wave 4 could be complete. The low can be in, but it could still form a triangle that consolidates, takes time, and then continues its movement upward. We're testing that 20-week moving average or 20-day moving average. And so the trend is still up and momentum. So we have to get it back above that 8. And then no divergence here in the MACD. This can continue higher, or we can start to see divergence on the next move. And we are getting pretty close to closing out most of these structures here. So we'll really have to see what happens. This might have to oscillate all the way through after we make new highs. We had divergence here on the RSI. right here. And then, so that ended up playing out to barely oversold, barely. And so being in a bull market, you know, I suspect we'll get back to these highs, for more divergences and continue. Now we have the slow stoke almost giving us a buy signal. We're getting that early crossover. We want to see it back above this 20 here. Okay, MSauce. This is the United States cannabis ETF. Really same thing. We're forming this market structure right back here in the wave 4 of the lesser degree. And with the moving averages, we're just below that 20. So this has some more work to do. Maybe it corrects a little bit more or sideways for a while to get back on top of those moving averages. And then there's a breakout from this downtrend and probably close a gap. But we'll have to see on its own what this is going to do. Is going to diverge a little bit from MJ. We'll see. All right, let's go to SPY on the 65 and close up. I think we might check out the VIX as well again. Here's that traditional look. So we talked about this yesterday, this being in a channel. Tried to break out from the channel. It's a fake break right into our resistance zone there. And we formed a wedge going up into it, breaking down from the wedge. This is, I don't really like to, I mean, we're back testing it, whatever. This isn't very significant to me. But at this point, we were looking to see if that was a bear flag. I don't think so anymore. It's breaking out to the upside. So this is an impulse wave, and we're looking for an A, B, and maybe a completion of C back up to this resistance area, 50, 60% move. And then we'll look for lower prices at that. So you're moving averages, trying to hold on to them, trying to hold on to that cluster. We set another high here, divergent high. And here we got another peak there. No divergence. Starting a slow stoke, starting to curl up. So that's going to give us our correction, our bounce. Here's the DMARC. No count here, no setup. Awesome oscillator. Came back into the positive. Really what it's telling us is we're moving sideways. And that can be apparent from the price action there. But we want to see this, again, get back into the red area if we're going to continue to short this. Money flow. There it is. That's what we talked about yesterday. It working its way back up to overbought territory. And that was an objective short right there. And now will it start to work its way down and cycle down? That's what we'll be looking for. Bollinger Band. And again, you get your sell signal right at the top of the band here. Testing the middle now with that overbought situation. Awesome oscillator. Made a lower high. Right there. Boom, boom. All these peaks go lower. I can draw one all the way across if you want. But I like to work the near term. So if this made a new high, for example, which I don't think so, but if it does make a new high, you want to see a divergence here. All right. Let's end off with the VIX. And just look at the setup here. So we had this, first of all, a higher low. We had this bearish rise, bullish falling wedge. Broke out of it. Now we're back testing. And with the moving averages on the daily time frame, you can see we're holding on to that 20. And then on the 65, we're getting underneath them. We'll have some work to do to get back above. We'll see where that goes from there. But for now, it's pushing lower. And the market is correcting back higher. So you don't want to see this breach of the new low, or else we'll expand this wedge. We want to see a higher low. But the 20 is day moving averages right in this area too. Okay, so that should hold on to there, or maybe a wick through there. Now let's see if we get follow through next week. All right. Thanks for joining us here at OptionsTender. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you this weekend.